That is the man with the plan.
Have to cut back someplace.
Yeah.
That's diet cream soda.
Yep.
Cleverly disguised.
I don't know how clever it is.
Well, I mean, it looks just like an A&W root beer can.
Well, it is. It is A&W. That's who makes them.
And A&W is the only root beer I like. When I grew up hating root beer, and somebody gave me A&W once, and it was okay.
That's what my wife drinks. That's it. A&W.
Now, these must be all the dang checks.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Present.
There were a ton there.
Yeah, I'm gonna just haul them out here, so.
The meeting's gonna start in a minute.
What's this up here for?
That's just on the agenda, that one that you guys get to vote on.
Sorry, too late. No, 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 it's not. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Excuse me. All right, it's 4 o'clock. Ask that the regular meeting of the River Plantation Municipal Utility District please come to order. And the first order of business we have will be to confirm minutes of the past meetings, the regular meeting of the 25th and the special meeting of the 29th. Has everybody read those minutes?
Yes, sir.
Do we have any comments or
Yeah,
changes?
I do. I'm gonna ask a question. On the fourth order, since there were 5 of us showing as being present, shouldn't we show how all 5 of us vote? Don't we have to record every vote being a governmental agency?
No.
One
No.
abstain, one abstain?
You
could
can
show
work it
one
that way, yeah,
abstention.
you can do it either way.
But I don't think it's not mandatory.
I mean, I could change it if you'd like, it's not that big a deal.
Now, you can call for a vote of record,
Okay,
okay?
okay.
To where each and every person,
Says how they voted.
all I said was, I believe the motion was made and I asked for all those in favor to say aye.
Right.
And that's what we got.
Okay.
But if you wish to have a vote recorded, then so request it. Then we'll record it by name.
Okay.
I have a comment. Oh,
Oh.
you done?
Yeah, I'm trying to decide. Go ahead, I'll come back to it.
Okay.
I'll do cell phone.
On the very front page where it says others present, I'd ask that we change the last 2 words that are listed there. It says district attorneys, and to me that implies the district
The
attorney.
district
Yeah,
attorney.
when I saw that,
Rather
I
than
thought,
district
I don't remember the
attorneys.
DA being there.
And that also appears down on the second order on the first line.
Just change it to the district's attorneys,
Yeah. Plural,
not Montgomery County District.
possessive, yeah. And
If he had district apostrophe S,
Yeah.
attorney, that would have been.
district.
The districts would be possessive. But go ahead.
that's all I had on the minutes of 20.
Any others? I hear a motion to confirm the minutes of the 25th.
I'll move it.
Made a motion
Second.
and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Show the minutes passed unanimously. The minutes of the 29th, which was
That
a
sounds
brief
Saturday
meeting
morning.
of about 4 or 5 minutes to okay a letter agreement for the use of the effluent. Anyone see any changes that need to be made in that?
No.
Then I'll entertain a motion to accept these minutes.
I'll make a motion to accept those minutes of the 29th.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
So be it unanimous. Comments from the public. Do you have the sheet?
It's back there. On the side here.
Yes, I haven't signed it, I didn't know it was there.
Well, I tell you what, just bring it on up here and we'll
Well,
just ask. There's
I'm
not that many
gonna,
people
I'm
here.
I'm the first one, I'm gonna ask a question, so let me get started while you work on
Yeah,
that.
there's not that many people here. I'll just start with you, Dee.
Okay. I was here back in August of last year because of the maintenance of the grounds for the mud. And at that point, it was agreed that the workmen could come through my yard and use a weed eater and cut the weeds down. Nobody's ever done that, but Richard has been cutting the grass. However, this, just a couple of months ago, was started where nobody's coming, and I hadn't had that back area cut for a month and a half. He did have his people go to the, where the plant is, cut that, but never cut the rest of it. The problem is, it gets so thick and high, you really don't want to walk through that, 'cause you don't know what's in there. And the seeds are flying to my yard and my neighbors. And it's, it's a little scary. I mean, I'm not going out there and getting too close to that area. Because I will tell you, it's thick of a small animal or a snake skin, you can't see them.
There could be some
There
small
could,
animals
there
out there
could
now.
be, there could be.
And maybe some big ones.
You never know. But I think we need to figure out something. I know what
Well,
was your, well, just a minute, I'll tell
I'll
you.
answer it as best I can. You said 3 months ago it started where there hadn't been anybody there.
Well, I'll tell you, back in June 6th, in fact, Dave, the sewer guy, cut the
Well,
grass.
Let me just explain. He lost both of his hands, plus Milton, who stayed on,
Oh, I
had an
understand that.
operation and
Yeah.
was on light duty because of his knee.
Right,
Both of his other people quit,
right.
and he didn't have anybody here, basically, for a month to 2 months.
It's, yeah, probably closer to 2.
And he just hired 2 guys, I think they came on around the 1st. Is that correct? And I'm sure they've got some catching up to do.
Yeah, I talked to Richard about
Can you add to
Ravensworth,
that?
it's the same thing. Ravensworth is,
Oh, okay.
Can you add to that?
Yeah, on top of that, the mower broke, and I had to order parts and wait for the parts to get here. When I finally got it fixed, and I got the new guys trained on it, so I could send them out to start catching up.
Okay, well, just so it gets back on a schedule, because it, really, those things grow so quickly, but they're affecting me, they're affecting my neighbor, and I mean, it's not a good situation when you can be taken care of.
We don't mow your neighbor's yard.
You don't mow my yard either.
No.
No.
But I'm saying that the strip.
that right away. that-
Okay,
No, it's
let
just
me-
a triangle behind her
Yeah,
yard.
that's all it is.
Yeah.
But the weeds blow, so they're going on her yard and my yard. It's not like you've got a glass partition there and you're keeping them on your side. It doesn't work that way. So yeah, as long as we can get a schedule going here, that's great.
I think it'll be settled,
Okay.
I hope it will be. You have a comment? Sir,
Just out of curiosity, I was
your
listening.
name, please?
Larry Cooper,
Thank you.
listening to your meeting of last 25th. Y'all said you had a major water leak. Did y'all ever find it?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, been repaired.
Okay, just curious. That's it.
you find it coming out in the street.
Never saw it.
That's generally where we
You
find it.
said you weren't able to find it at that time.
Yeah.
Oh,
Some of them take a while to find because they'll travel a little ways underground, particularly if they're deep.
Could I just make one more comment about your public notice? It wasn't on the website this week until today.
Well, I don't
It
put them
should
on
be
there,
on,
so.
well, I don't
Talking about
know.
the agenda.
And I was there when it was called to his attention. And he put it on there shortly thereafter.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, it's supposed to be on there by Monday, so it'd be good, just to get a regular, put it on the calendar. And then just get it
as a FYI, it's not required for us to put it on the.
It is
on the
once you
net.
have
That's a
started,
requirement, but it is
once you have
convenient.
started
Yeah,
doing
it's
that, you
convenient, yeah.
need to continue, because that's
To
what people
those
like.
that have computers and pay attention to them. Fairway Estates, you have comments,
Yes, sir.
please do.
I noticed that my water bill doubled. I would just like to hear the reasoning why it doubled. What, are we in trouble financially, or are you going to do some expansion or rebuild or upgrade or what?
Sam, is that the same question you have?
No.
Okay, let me answer yours as best I can. Our audited statement of 2018, we lost $28,000 in the mud. So far this year, we're $52,000 less in tax revenues.
Is
That
that because
is-
of Harvey?
Pardon?
Is that because of Harvey
A lot of it is, yes.
and the folks that aren't paying their bills?
Well, yeah, and there's probably gonna be, they haven't even got into the mitigation yet. Okay, the houses they're gonna tear down, or if there are, I don't know. I don't think
Hopefully.
anybody knows at this point in time.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're running short. Thus far on our budget year, in 9 months, we're $124,000 over budget. Over budget.
Revenue over budget.
No.
We're
Right,
over
over
budget.
budget.
We've
Spend-
spent,
Yeah.
Oh, got you.
Yeah.
we've spent $124,000 more than we had budgeted for the same period last. Okay?
Is that due to any particular projects, or?
No, there haven't been any big projects. It's just like the water leaks he's talking about. Water breaks.
Yeah.
Anytime you get, and you ought to know this, working in soils and all and have something to do with soils, anytime you get a drought, water, excess situation, particularly in our area where we have clay, we're gonna have swelling, and then we're gonna have
Subsidence?
dehydration and a shrinkage. And that doesn't bode well for these old concrete pipes that are in there, which were the cheapest thing they could lay in 1960. Okay? And so we have had quite a few line breaks. Now, we've had line breaks every year for that matter, but it just seemed like last year. Now, another thing, we entered into some litigation this year. Our legal bills are going out the window. They're high. Those are the two big examples that I know about right now that's causing the over budget.
So how does
But
it
what is that?
distribute to us?
Raising rates.
Are they
It's
short
either that or
term?
raise your tax rate.
Are they short term?
Pardon?
Are they short
No,
term?
sir. No, sir. We have got to get back on a pay-as-you-go basis. Okay? We are a not-for-profit organization.
Okay, so the $34 that was added on.
Now,
for-
no, that's sewer now.
That's sewer?
He asked about water.
Right.
Sewer is different. We added on 2 years ago. We doubled the sewer rate to pay for a sewer.
Yeah.
Problem that
That
we
was
had.
explained.
That's right. That should, or will, or can. Right now, it's mandated that it come off in 2 years. Roughly about this time of year, isn't it?
Yes.
So, half of that, $17 or whatever the number is, but it varies as to the amount of water you're using. Some of that will come off, half of it. Okay?
Okay.
But that's 2 years down the road. That was done to pay for a specific project so that we wouldn't have to delve into extra monies that we might have that we had budgeted on a 5-year basis for capital expenditures that we knew that were coming up,
Yeah.
or that we know that are coming up. Okay?
The one thing that I'm concerned about is the beautification of River Plantation. And I'm just afraid that there's a lot of people who are just gonna turn their water sprinklers off. And it's gonna look like the front of a subdivision.
Well, I will tell you, I haven't turned mine on in 2 years, and my grass is as green as this grass.
Well, it depends on how much, it
Shaded,
depends on
you
if
get
we
the
have a
water.
2011 drought
Yeah,
or we have a 2017 flood.
right.
Yeah, we're subject to the climate. All right? We can't do anything about that.
Let me ask you one other question. Okay, we're invoiced for the total amount of water we use for the sewage also, correct?
The total of, the amount of water figures into the sewer rate, yes, sir.
Mhm, mhm.
The
Well,
less water you use, the lower the sewer rate.
okay, could a person put in another meter just for their water sprinklers and lower their sewer rate?
No,
Why?
because you're still consuming the same water.
But you're not processing it,
Oh, yes, we are.
Oh, no, he doesn't have a dual system.
huh?
It goes, half of that water you put on the grass doesn't go in the ground.
It does in my house.
Well, you're one of the few. You know for yourself that most of them water too much.
Yeah, they water the road.
And the roads get watered a great deal.
Well, they pay for that.
And one of the things, oh yeah, we're having to pay for it.
Well, you've explained that.
So, another reason, Dee knows this. Several years ago, she and I went to a conference, and it had to do with conservation of water.
Mhm.
During the time that Montgomery County was all up in arms about conserving water, okay? And the only solution that they had to offer in this wide-ranging symposium that we went to was to raise rates. So, we have a not rapidly, let's say, expanding system. It's very slow. And we're probably depleting it to the point where we're pulling it out fast. Not so much River Plantation, but Conroe
Yep.
and the Woodlands, and we're sitting between the two of them. That's where all the water's going, but we're all in the same basic aquifer.
So we don't have any water going across the 45 into.
No, sir, we gave that up, we gave that land up to preserve River Plantation for a 20-year period to keep out of the city.
When's that 20-year period end?
Pardon?
When does that 20-year period end?
At the end of the 20 years, whenever we stand it,
You don't know when?
32 or 33?
I got another question. Are we done with that topic?
You're probably gonna have the same question I have.
Have-
Go right
I got
ahead.
one more.
My biggest concern is I live, I have the concrete drainage system that runs next to the Augusta Golf Course. And it right now has,
It's in disrepair, isn't it?
well, that's putting it mild.
Well,
I think that you've got trees in there that are 20 feet high, or they used to be weeds and now they're trees, you know, so. And I've talked to Richard about it a couple of times, and he explained to me that they went to FEMA, and then FEMA, you know, that something was lost, and now you had to go back to FEMA once again.
all right, let me just go through it. We applied to FEMA after Hurricane Harvey because of the destruction done to the plating along the golf course, along the ditch.
Right.
He can't get in there with anything to clean the ditch because the plating down below it will give way, and whatever it is, unless we set up there someplace and try to use a track hoe. Okay? Now, we can't get to very many places with a track hoe along that ditch. okay?
you can't put a team in there that just walks through there and starts,
Or you can walk through, yeah,
start knocking stuff down?
and then the snake will get you that comes out and all that kind of crap,
Well, no,
you know?
I
There's a
understand.
few water moccasins in this country.
Well,
We're all Texans.
I understand that, okay, I understand.
Yeah.
So,
The second part of this whole thing is that we applied for a FEMA grant to correct all of that. FEMA agreed to that until the last minute, and somebody raised the question. Does the Corps of Engineers, have they given permission for this ditch? Nobody knew. Well, it finds out, we started, I say we, I wasn't here in 68 or 67, but they started the ditch back then. They diverted part of the upper part of it, and they diverted it and changed the course to more or less help them out with the subdivision back in this area. Your area being one of them.
right,
As a result, there were certain parts of the ditch at that time that were concrete and were in a bonding issue in 1968. In 1972, the EPA and the Corps, I don't know which, they seem to run sort of hand in hand. What one doesn't think of, the other one will. Issued a rule. Any kind of tributary that flows into or any tributary has got to receive, that you're going to do anything to, has got to receive permission from them for that stuff. So nothing was done in 72. In 1980, about 3, 4, nobody can remember when. He doesn't have anything that shows exactly when. We had an engineering firm by the name of Beard. At that time, Beard proposed that they concrete line the ditch. He thought nothing of the Corps of Engineers. And the ditch was lined. Come about, 8 years ago, 7, 8 years ago, I was on the board then. We didn't think anything about it. It was already done. All we were going to do was repair it. So we went in and repaired what we could. Spent $400,000 or $500,000. Comes 2017, and apparently there have been at least one more modification to the EPA and the Corps of Engineers rules that came about in sometime in late 80 or early 90, and made it more stringent to where they have to have all kinds of studies. They want a wildlife study. They want this kind of study. They want an artifact study, an archaeological study. They want to know what it was like before. Nobody knew. We can't provide them a history.
okay.
Therefore, our application now is before, and that's another one of the reasons we've had buku bills come from people that we hired to prepare these documents to go before the Corps. There's supposed to be I was in a meeting about a month ago, wherein we met with the Corps, and they said, all right, you shoot your best shot. Give us your best shot.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll see what we can do with it, but here's what's going to happen. You're not going to do anything. Don't want you touching it until we tell you you can. Now, once you get that approval, if and when you get that approval, then you can do your work. So, we are prohibited, if you will, at the present time, from basically doing anything on that thing. And in fact, the worst case scenario is they may have us come in and take the whole damn concrete out and fine us because we did not receive a permit.
Have you-
Ignorance is no
Have you submitted?
excuse for the law.
Have you submitted for permission yet?
Pardon?
Have you submitted your paperwork for permission?
They're submitting it as we speak.
Okay.
In fact, you checked on him.
Second submittal or first?
Pardon?
Is this the first submittal or second submittal?
No, he submitted one and they just turned it back. They just turned it down, period.
So, let's take the worst case scenario and let's say that they say, oh, you're gonna turn it, take the concrete out. Then-
Okay.
Then what are they gonna do?
Nothing. Let it return
To nature.
to nature.
There's a road. I mean,
This place is unbelievable.
well,
I said, this is
that's your
un-
government at work.
No,
That's
I-
the Corps of
I know.
Engineers and the EPA at work.
So what's?
We are not the
Have you
only.
contacted any of our representatives around this
I
area?
had the representative of Kevin Brady there in that meeting.
What's he gonna do to stop this crap?
They can't stop it because it's a rule and the bureaucrats run the rules.
Okay.
You need to run for office.
Last question.
There are 4 or 5 entities such as ourselves that have similar problems in this area. I'm trying to find out who they are such that we can combine the efforts, if we have to, at the congressional level.
Okay, so the homeowners that are on that ditch were
They can't do anything.
not warned, not warned about any of this issue, right? Prior to purchasing their homes, 20. some
Nobody
years
knew anything about it.
Right. So now it's gonna be a big surprise to the homeowners, and it's gonna be a big surprise to you guys, right?
It's already a big surprise to us because we're talking 6 figures
Yeah.
fines.
Or you could hire a crew yourself to go out there and clean it out one
Well,
Sunday.
you can't touch it, then you'll be
Can't
forced
touch
to.
No, that's under the jurisdiction of the Corps of Engineers.
Right.
That is a tributary to the San Jacinto River.
The ditch.
The
The
bottom of
ditch.
it's gonna make it worse.
Anyway,
Water pressure.
it's all semantics.
Is that water pressure up to par?
Yeah,
All of a sudden, I brought a shower tower. I don't know if you know what they are, you probably
Yeah.
do. And, I don't have near enough water pressure.
Drill out the core.
Yep.
Go-
Take
go
out the
nice
flow
pipe.
restrictor.
The what?
there's a flow restrictor in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had the same thing in my kitchen that I had a problem with.
My shower in my bathtub, we put a nice big can in, we got a drizzle. I drilled that little sucker out, now it's a nice shower.
Oh, yeah. There's restrictors in all the new
Mandated.
Mhm.
faucets, if you will. I don't know that it's in all of them, but it's sure in my kitchen, I'll say that, or was.
If it's new enough,
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
Take a trip
required.
to Mexico and get some good stuff.
all right.
Shower heads.
Just one question, if I may.
You've
When I
already had
came-
one.
Yes, I'm another. That was
Another,
another. When I came here, I was under the impression we got a little bit lower water rate because of affluent water going into the golf course.
no, sir.
We did, that was just something
That
somebody
has
told
nothing
me.
to do with our water
Well, that's what
rates.
he said, and that's what Blackburn said,
Oh, okay.
sometime back.
No, you have nothing,
So the loss of it with the golf course there isn't gonna affect us in any way? I meant by.
no,
Okay.
that, all that'll do, what we do now, we just take what's going down the San Jacinto River
Yeah,
and divert it to the golf course.
Well, it was gray water is what he was talking
Yeah,
about.
it
Right,
comes
but-
off the sewer plant.
Your
I
water
got the
use-
impression there
your
was
bill's
some
based on your
credits that-
water usage, and if you
There
pay
are
for
some
20,000
credits and that's what
gallons,
litigation
your
is
water
over.
bill should not go up.
No, it hasn't.
We have
I'm not worried
sued.
about the water bill, it's the ditch.
Common knowledge now,
So you must be using
we
a lot
have
of water.
sued to get the credits back.
Right.
Yeah,
what?
All the rain?
yeah.
To get the credits back,
What do you have in
Oh,
the-
we've lost them.
we're
No,
not.
we
No,
haven't
we
lost them.
I had a leak,
We
and
never had it.
my water bill.
We never had them.
They belong to the golf course.
Well, I had an irrigation guy
Okay.
come out, he found my issue.
The golf
Yeah,
course had
back-
the credits.
Okay,
No.
so it doesn't affect the
No,
No,
homeowners
the
at all?
golf course doesn't have the credits.
That's
Let me,
correct.
let me just stop you right
No.
there. The credits were changed out of the golf course to some private corporation owned by Ed Blackburn.
Right.
They changed, but.
Right.
So the golf course has no credit, it has nothing to do with the credits at the present time.
He took those.
Ed Blackburn has the credit.
That's
Correct.
right, in
Right.
some shell
Personally.
company.
Mm-hmm.
And our lawsuit is to retrieve those credits.
Good luck.
Okay,
Now, to carry that story a little further, Lone Star Groundwater is under an elected board of directors today. They were all appointed prior to. The appointees at the time made a policy that back in 2008 or 9 to reduce the amount of groundwater produced from all of the wells in Montgomery County by 30%.
familiar with that.
Okay. The newly elected board came along last year, and one of their first measures was to rescind that order. And it was turned down by the Texas Water Board, I think it's the Texas Water Board or the TCEQ, I forget which. Whatever governing board there is. So they're back to a point to where, well, they're not gonna let us get by with nothing. So we're probably gonna have to compromise with something. Now, the only time the credits will be worth anything is if RP Country Club, as it exists today, EP, East Plantation Utility District, and ourselves exceed our quotas, whatever they might be at the time, at that time. Whether they be 30% less, or whether they be 10% less, or 10% less, it makes no difference. We will have to use those credits at that time, and then they will become valuable. Prior to the new board coming in, those credits were probably worth anywhere from $1 to $3 per 1,000 gallons. We had 330,000 of them roughly. Anyway, that's the story on the credits.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else? Good. Get back to business.
You loan me some money?
Nope. Got none. You got all the money.
What do you mean?
We get
Live over in that high rent district?
I'm retarded now, just like you are.
No, I got a job.
Do you?
Yeah, I'm working for Apache.
Take care, Jack.
Thank you. All right, review the bookkeeper's reports. Read it and weep, boys.
Can I make one request for Richard, for these guys? When they, send us like the actual versus budget through the end of June, can I get something that shows, and I don't, when I try to compare apples to apples, I can't. I gotta go pull last month's reports to compare the cash flow for last month to the actuals, and it only goes through mid-month. So I can't compare apples to ask questions. So when we get this report for them, and I don't care if it's just mine, if nobody else wants it, I don't care. Can I get a cash flow report like for the month of June and then through July 25th? So that I can compare what I'm looking at actuals versus what really happened in June, so I can see, you know what I mean?
I'll have to ask her, so
Okay.
that's on their side of the fence, so.
Yeah.
Do you just want to actual all the way up till the
I want
date of the
No,
report?
no. What I want is when I see the actual versus budget
Right.
through the end of last month,
Right,
I want the cash flow reports for through the end of last month
oh,
For the same
in
period.
the same
for the same
format.
period.
It's what she's trying to say.
Yeah,
She
yeah.
wants to-
Right.
I see.
Right,
to
I like
compare it.
having the ones through today,
Right,
but then I don't know what happens that last 5 days of the month.
right, I understand.
So-
Okay.
So I can't compare apples to apples.
No, the only time you can compare it's when they do the audit at the end of the year.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, so,
Yeah, I'll ask her if she can do that.
okay, thank you.
Is there a category on here for postage?
There
see
used to
it.
be.
Yeah, there should be. Administrative postage.
I remember seeing one
I was
before.
gonna say, it was really high
I
last
thought
month.
so, but I don't see it.
Is it under printing and office supplies now? Oh, no, here, well, yeah, no, here's postage right
Yeah,
here.
it should be. line
16,520.
item. Right.
Oh, it's on a different report.
It's on the, oh, go to the actual versus budget.
Yeah, it's on the actual.
Oh, you're looking at the cash flow for this month? See, we probably don't send bills out till the end of the month, so it
Right.
wouldn't be on here.
That's right.
Well, I don't see a USPS on here.
Well, it's
Oh,
not
so
on the cash flow, it's on the actual versus
It's on-
budget.
Yeah, it's,
And actually, I don't think there was any this month according to the, or
Yeah.
last month.
right,
See,
yeah.
that's why we can't compare,
It's on the second
Apples
page,
to
Jack.
apples,
It's on
because-
page
Yeah.
8.
It's account 60,
On the actual-
part of it's for this month and part of it's for
16520.
last month.
Well, you buy bulk, don't you?
yeah, that's why. We only make the payments when we're,
Yeah, you buy bulk.
yeah, exactly.
It comes at a certain time and then,
And we replenish the bank at the post office, and when we send out all the bills, they deduct from that.
Yeah.
Right, so, we don't
Yeah.
do it every month, it's, you know, and then you have an annual fee that you gotta pay that's only once a year for the post office box, and you got an annual fee for the bulk mail,
Right.
so all that stuff. It just
So when we
sporadic.
mail out the bills,
Mhm.
there's not a stamp on it, and it doesn't go through a meter.
Okay.
Bulk,
no, it's
bulk mail,
already prepaid.
yeah, prepaid bulk,
What's that cost us to mail that out?
28 cents.
It's a stamp up to nowadays.
50
It's
cents.
50 cents,
Is it really?
sure is,
Dang.
50 cents. That's why we do bulk.
4 bits.
Anybody have any more questions about the bookkeeper report? All right, on to the operation report or whatever it is, whatever we call it. Administrative report, that's what you call it.
How do we find water, Richard?
Well, it's like I was saying, 1 month it carries over to the other. You always have that overlap between when the system shuts down for the one date and the other one starts. You've got to carry over a couple of days. Sometimes you'll be over, sometimes you'll be under. That goes throughout the year like that. You'll see it.
But this is the first time that I remember seeing that we,
Not
This-
necessarily.
This year,
There's for the same period last year.
yeah, I was gonna say,
Shows a gain of 22%. Same period.
22% last, wow.
Right there.
I've seen it happen about maybe once a year, or sometimes I've seen it twice a year, but other than that, you're always on the other side. But it just, every once in a while, it'll cross over like that.
No, that's
What?
not, Jack, that's not the same thing.
Yes, it
This
is.
is showing, no, look at your report this year, you got a negative gain. You got a gain, and here you got a loss of
Well, that's a
32%.
22% loss, all right?
You got a 32% loss.
Excuse me, I pulled the wrong one.
Yeah,
When I saw 20%, I thought that was it.
yeah,
Try that one.
oh, okay.
It all balances out at the end of the year.
That's still,
that's
that's still a
still a
loss.
positive,
No, that's a negative. That's
No.
a minus 22%, isn't
No,
it?
it's
No.
plus 2.
No,
plus 2.
Well, what did I look at?
26.
Am I blind? Yep, I didn't pull the right one. Pull the
And
one
did you
before it.
notice the number of
There.
people, the number of people using more than 50,000 gallons doubled?
Jacked up.
But
We kind of went the wrong way.
look at, well,
Yeah.
look at,
Just wait till
look
the
at
next one.
2018.
I
It's
know.
June, it went
I
from
know,
wet
because of the
May
water and
to
the
hot
heat, I know.
June.
Look at 2018, that's the reason I pulled all of these, I pulled a 10-year audit,
Got it, okay.
and there's not really a lot of
It's not a big
inconsistency.
difference, no. You know, it's actually almost exactly the same. That's within 6, that's dead on, that one's within 6.
Yeah, it's,
Yeah.
and you find that all the way through, except unless you know that it's wet. Now,
Right.
when it's wet,
Yeah.
they don't turn them on.
That one was the exact same one.
2012 was a drought year. Above 50, above 40, 117. The same period. And that's above 40. 2011 was a drought year. 201 above 40. So it's not unusual.
Right. So what day do bills go, and I'm confusing here, but what day do bills go out? Do you read the meters? That's what I want to know. What day do you read the
The
meters?
24th of every month is when
Okay.
that's our goal, to read them at that day.
Okay.
And
That's,
then it gives her time to process, and then I take them to the post office before the 1st, usually the 30th or 30, you know.
okay,
Now,
So
one
that
of the things
they
they
get
get
delivered
this
by the
month is
1st.
it's a 31-day month.
right.
Next month, it'll only be a 30-day month.
Right.
But the 2 months after that, there'll be 31s and 31s, which will be high-use months again.
And are we reading every meter?
Oh, yeah,
We read every meter,
every month,
every month,
every month.
regardless of how thick the mud is.
Yep. Mud's not an issue. We just scoop it out of the way, read it, and you're gone. We can read them underwater, we can read them with mud, we can read them all kind of.
How do you read them underwater?
You just put a glass tube over it and it just goes right through the water and you just see it right there.
I've been
Or we pump them.
receiving communication from customers that are not happy with their water bills,
Sure they're not.
and they've got water meters that are
Yep.
like this,
I saw that photo.
okay? And
His meter was red and it was right.
so that accumulates that fast.
Oh, yeah, sometimes the next day. You read them one day, and the next day, they're already covered back up. The animals push it all in there, and the ants, and they turn the sprinkler system on, and all the water goes in it, because it's at a low spot. I mean, it'll happen, fast. When we're reading the meters, we don't really care how much dirt's in it. All we gotta do is sweep it to read the glass.
No, I understand that.
Yeah, and that's it. We'll just leave the dirt in there. It doesn't really affect the meter operation.
Okay.
Are we about through with administrative reports? Anybody need any more questions? Actually, this next month will tell the tale as to whether or not we've accomplished, there won't be as much revenue increase as we think, because believe me, people will start to conserve, and
Which was part of the goal.
that is part of the goal, no doubt.
I do have one more question about the systems totals report. On the last page, Richard, at the bottom it says total memberships. What is that for?
That I don't know. I never look at that. That's not part of my.
What is it?
So this report
This
is generated by the bookkeepers?
This report comes off of RVS, the billing system. I
Okay.
can call them and ask it.
I think what
Just-
it's gonna be is
just
it's probably
curious.
gonna be your accounts receivable at the end of the month,
Could be, yeah.
Okay.
since we don't
I
have.
just wanted
I can't-
to make you aware of it, to let you see that it
Yeah.
was on there.
Yeah, I think it's your billings for the month.
If you get a bill, you remember.
Well, I think, yeah, it's probably the program is set up for, like co-ops and things like that, but, yeah. I'm looking at the figures that are on that page. It's either your billings for the month or it's the receivables at the end of the month. So, but since I don't have financials for, I can't compare.
Well, it's showing you right there at the ending deposits last month, it's 89,618.
Right.
Then the changes in the month is that.
That's what
and
I
they're
think it's
adding
the
up to
accounts
that.
receivables.
Yeah, that's all it is.
Yeah, your receivables at the end of the month.
Okay, is everybody satisfied?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Next item on the agenda will be the water meters. I read Neighborhood Watch from time to time, and I read all of the diatribe that was on there. It's amazing to me that people just wake up in a new world every day. But we are what we are. We are a maturing community, and we get used to a lot of things, and we don't like change. So, with that said, it's been since 2006 since we changed out meters. We have what's termed a rotary meter, I guess you could call it that has a plus or minus 2% accuracy number if it's new. It will never go the other way. It'll always go away from the seller. The purchaser will always be getting anything because a grit of sand will eat. Those are, I don't think they're stainless steel bodies, I think they're brass. They will etch out and you will not get a true measurement. Thus the reason why we have some water loss. We don't have water loss like most concerns do, but we do have water loss. With that in mind, and with all the belly aching that went on, I feel it's time that we look at installing modern equipment, both from an accuracy standpoint and from an ease of operation standpoint, being that there are meters available which we can utilize that operate very similarly to the way the gas company and the electric company do. You can go by, they operate off of batteries, and receive a signal off of that meter. That meter has a discrete code. It's entered into the computers automatically off of a either a radio frequency or a data download off of a handheld of some kind. And with that in mind, I propose that the board go to get Richard to go to the engineering firm and look into the situation and come back to us with a recommendation and our bids to redo our entire meter system. Not entire, we'll still do the well meters will all be the same. We have to read those manually anyway. Estimated, what I've seen, somewhere between probably $350,000 and $550,000.
So they're 25 bucks a piece?
Well, there's 900 and
Oh, okay, so
there's you'll be replacing 940,
70.
50, 60, 70, whatever the number is.
Roughly 1,000.
I don't intend on changing those out that are not active until they become active, but
Agreed.
It'd be still if you buy them in bulk. probably
But you got to do, basically,
have
it's
spares.
cheaper on a unit basis to do it at once rather than
Sure.
drag it out. So, with that in mind, I make a motion that we instruct general manager to consult with the engineers and to present a program back to this board at the next meeting. And if possible, be able to put it out for bids soon thereafter. Is there a second or any discussion on the matter?
If we don't change it, the lifespan of what we have, how much longer?
They're good for about 10 years.
1 year?
No.
No,
10
they
years
were good for
total.
about 10 years.
Okay.
Average operational life of a meter is 10 years.
Yeah,
So we're already exceeded
Like
that.
everything in the world now.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
They recommend you change them every 10 years because your accuracy starts to drop.
What's the life expectancy of these new meters?
It depends on the type of meter. The PD meters fall within the same category, but they're a lot higher grade. The ultrasonics, there's nothing in them to wear out. So it depends on the type of meter you're gonna put
Are
in.
they solar batteries?
No.
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 So
Package-
you have to go
battery-
around and
battery
change the
packs.
batteries when?
Well, yeah, but they say they last a year or two. I don't know.
Well, that's what I'm.
You know,
let's
they
say.
Yeah,
say-
so what would the cost be to
Well,
buy new batteries for
The-
those?
it depends on the meter again and the company. That's what I'm learning a lot. And that is, some meters, for instance, the foreign meters, it's all one unit. You put it in the ground. The meter's about
Oh, so you gotta
270
change out
bucks.
the whole meter
Yes.
instead of change the battery?
Now, they warranty, some of them warranty them for 20 years.
Okay.
So, you don't have to pay for it for 20 years if it goes bad, but you still gotta replace the entire meter. There's no battery pack. It's all sealed in
Okay.
the unit.
All right.
There are
It's
some that have
supposed to
external
last
packs.
20 years.
Yeah, there's some that have external packs, which you can change them,
Okay.
But there's different designs and different techniques.
So my next question, which you may not know, but you may want, I would like an answer from the engineer, is there a market for these meters? Do we need to charge a deposit on these meters, especially for the renters that are coming in here, so that they don't, when they leave, sell them on the black market or whatever?
That's kind of difficult for them to do. You really can't tear it out of the ground unless we'll be the first to know, because you can have water going everywhere if they touch it.
And unless you're a handy plumber.
Most people don't ever mess with the meters. We've never had anyone try to even take the meters.
Okay. Then my next question, is it possible to mess with those meters?
No, because they're all sealed.
Okay.
Now, to your knowledge, who uses them now?
Most of the bigger cities use them already. City of Conroe, Panorama Village, a
Because
lot
the
of them
first
use them.
one I ever heard of using it, and it was just something I heard a long time ago, was cut and shoot. Because they just had some guy drive down the road and,
Right.
and he just goes by and he gets the meter reading and,
Right.
and they save so much money off that.
City of Beaumont switched 2 years ago, and they don't even drive by. I can call them right now, and they can tell me every hour.
Right.
Okay, well, this has been some
Yeah,
time ago, so.
we've seen those and
See, that's the different thing that we'll have to look at, is because there's AMRs, AMIs, and the difference is, one, like what he's describing, is the cell network. The meters pulse to the cellular network, and the cellular network downloads to your computer.
mean we gotta put some antennas up.
But you have to pay a hosting fee for that, per meter. So that adds up real quick.
Yeah.
The other thing is some of them are radio operated. Now you gotta invest in towers and radio relays and stuff, which is a one-time expense, but now you gotta maintain it, and you have to pay licensing fees, see? So there's a lot of little things you gotta look at.
So how much would it cost just to go back and replace all these meters with the meters we have now? Or similar meters?
what we have in the ground now is called PD meters, positive displacements. Their cost is around $45 a piece, 45 to $50 a piece to
That's
replace.
the cost of the meter.
That's
Right.
Cost
not
less for the new digital electronic meter?
No,
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 no.
no, they were
The
like
new meters are
$300.
$270
Yeah,
each. So that's where the price difference comes in, because you're paying for technology.
So
So,
what you'd be paying for with an electronic meter would be for a turnkey, the two that I've seen would turnkey an operation. They would come in and install the meters for a sum of money and would then install the software necessary to download.
so does it 300 to 500,000 include the installation, or that
Yeah,
just
no,
includes the meters?
that's a turnkey number.
yeah. turnkey.
That's a total number.
That's remove the old ones, install the new ones, program, set up the database, and interface with RDS.
Who gets the old meters?
It depends on how the bid is done. Some of them will
That's
say
a lot of
they'll
brass.
cut the, yeah. Some of them will say we'll cut the price if we get the meters back. Some of them don't want to mess with them, you know, so it just depends on how we negotiate the contract.
Are they have a scrap value, do you know?
Oh, yeah, the
Yeah,
brass.
so much a
Brass.
pound.
Oh, yeah,
Okay, so I mean, they're gonna be worth something.
yeah. No,
Okay.
Not much.
not much,
Well,
but
hey,
it is
it's
something.
something.
It is
Not
something,
much,
yes.
but they'd be worth about $20, $30, I don't know what metal's bringing today, but it, let's say $40 a ton.
Right now, I'm looking at all the pros and cons of all the different types of systems. Their battery longevity, their warranties, who has them in, so I can call them and say, have you had any problems with them?
Well, that's the reason for bringing the engineers in there. They
Right.
should have a broader
Right.
experience with these things. Because-
Is it that hard to read 900 meters?
No, we read them, and, with two guys can read them in one day. So, I
But
mean, we've been doing it that way for,
it takes the
20-something.
guesswork out of it.
Yeah,
Right.
I know,
It
but
takes what Tim was
do
talking
we have
about
$500
out of it.
million to spend on the
How about the
guesswork?
swap?
Well, we had that in the 5-year budget
2%
anyway.
loss
yeah.
accuracy. I mean, are the new
Going
ones,
to electronic meters were in the
or
five-year
is it still
budget?
gonna be
Uh-huh.
2%, or is it?
Yeah.
To
gonna be-
replace meters, I think we had, I don't know what the exact number was, $400,000 we have in a 5-year budget for replacement of meters. Right? I don't have the number in front of me.
The last time I replaced the meters, I think I spent 90, I think it was 92,000 or something like that. It's not, remember, you're only paying for the meter plus the spuds and everything else.
Right,
For the basic model, you know. Now, remember, all these meters have to pass AWWA standards, so
right.
it doesn't matter if it's a PD meter or an ultrasound or everything else, they all gotta have the same calibration specs. So, and then the choice you're gonna have again is, do you want a radio-controlled PD meter for, let's say, $200 and something versus an ultrasound for $270, you know? And that's the other thing, I'm gonna look at all that.
Well,
Remember
that's the
that-
kind of thing that you would be able to share with us. If
Well,
we-
that's the kind of thing that the engineer will present the report for if we so authorize them
That's what I'm asking.
to come
Yeah.
forward.
Yeah.
Yeah, the engineer's gonna do the same thing, because I'm giving him all the info. He's just gonna put it all together.
Well,
and say,
you'll give him what you got.
Right.
He will also have what he has
Right.
That's
from
correct.
his own personal experience
Right, right.
and in the shop.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, I keep tabs with friends of mine that work for the city of Conroe, and, you know, they've got over 15,000 meters now. And they're all radio. You know, they've had some issues with them, but I mean, when you're looking at 15,000 meters and they might have lost 30 or 40, that's not too bad, you know? So,
I'll second the motion that we go out for a study.
Anything, any other questions, any further discussion?
You say it's already in the budget to replace meters?
No. It was in the 5-year budget.
right,
We have it in the
For the capital
5-year budget, just like
right.
Yeah,
we have sewer plant stuff in the 5-year budget.
Right.
We have line replacements in the 5-year
Right.
budget. We've got water well in the 5-year budget. We have a lot of things that we know that were gonna happen that hadn't happened by the time we made this year's budget out.
Okay.
Okay? It's just that this provides, from what, I expected to have a whole lot more people
I did too.
to carry on. But this just provides the impetus I think we need to shove us down the road. Anyway, all in favor of the motion? It's
Aye.
been seconded. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Let it show unanimous. Last item. Oh. Discuss or approve the MCAD Board of Directors. That's a pain in the posterior.
Montgomery County what?
Appraisal district.
Oh,
Appraisal district.
Appraisal District.
we have 2 votes out of 1,000. I don't know what the number is. We're not,
I think there's 3 candidates this year, is that right?
yeah. And if you're interested,
Are they all the people that were on there before? They're just incumbents?
we got Arthur Bretterhoff.
Don't know him.
He's from the Woodlands. And current position, he's Director of Global Key Account Management for Maersk.
Really?
He's a Yankee.
So am I.
Pity. Peggy Hossman, I've heard that name, she's run for everything. She has a BF in Science Criminal Justice.
That qualifies.
Also from the Woodlands. And has been a MUD board member. And those are the only 2 that were attached. There is a 3rd candidate here, you may or may not know him. I didn't know any of them. Sandy LaPlante.
Sounds French, voting.
Yeah, even spelled with an I for Sandy.
Might be a girl.
I was gonna say, it's
Yeah.
probably a woman though.
Most likely. So, anyway, attach the resolution determining vote to this official ballot. And does anybody have a candidate they wish to support of the 3 that we've named? What they do, they administer the appraisal district. Oh, here's the list. There are 706 votes. We have 2. Okay?
Let's make him count.
So it's about like being a co-pilot on a 777.
Easiest job in the world.
That's the easy.
You're there, but you don't have a whole lot to say, do you?
Get your coffee, sir.
Anyway. The mind of the board? Comment? Tim?
I don't have any favorites.
Bob? Mark?
You got a coin?
Just
Flip.
sign it and send it back without a vote.
Okay.
We abstain.
That way we get credit for at least looking at it.
That's
right?
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly right.
Now, is there anything that anybody wishes to bring up at this time that might have been discussed in the past?
I've got something I want to bring up, but it's never been discussed in the past.
I don't see
Can
any
I?
business on there.
Well,
Okay.
yes and no. It's supposed to discuss any pending business.
Pending, not new.
Pending is what it says.
Okay, well,
It should have appeared in the past somewhere. Can you get a thread to it?
Can you figure out something we talked about? That's
It doesn't have anything to do with anything we've talked about in the past, that's why I bring it up. But I guess it can wait a month, so we'll put on the agenda for next month,
So
new
make it an
business.
agenda.
Could you phrase it as a question and to see if it's ever been brought up before?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I've been here 12 years. Maybe it has been brought up.
Is there any consideration to asking the board if there's anything they want to add to the agenda before the agenda gets published? So that'll be new business for next month.
Well, I don't have any problem.
Yeah.
It's always been, there's been no problem with any board member,
As long as it's
That's right.
before it's published, isn't it?
Yeah.
Something new.
as long as it's in before Friday afternoon
Right. Any board member
on the
has-
regular session.
But I don't get, I'm the secretary, so it eventually falls on me. I don't have any idea what the agenda says until it's published.
We'll just put it on the agenda, and if it's already,
If it's already on the agenda, it's already on the agenda.
Yeah, I
already
think
on there.
I think as a secretary, he's supposed to approve the agenda
I think
before.
so.
Actually, it's the president that approves the
President?
agenda. The secretary approves the minutes
Yeah.
of the meeting.
But the agenda is prepared basically from a consortium of ideas
Right.
and presented, and basically you have a order of business that you go on, and it's just a matter of discussion. There's no reason why anyone can't, as long as it's before Friday. And as far as posting it, I don't see that you have any obligation or requirement to sign, to okay it before.
Okay.
because it's
Because-
just an agenda item.
Yeah, it's just an agenda item, there's no action involved, there's no,
The action happens at the board meeting.
well, the action happens once you take the meetings and do have action,
Right.
and that's it. Hopefully,
Except that if it's something new, like we're running into now, if it's something new, you can't
yeah,
discuss
it
it
has
until
to,
the- yeah.
yeah, if it's
public meetings.
If it's an item that's gonna affect everybody, yes, it can't be brought up, just as an old new business.
Right.
Now, they didn't necessarily follow that years ago, but that's the way it's intended to be followed now.
So if there's something somebody wants discussed here on the board, get it on the next agenda,
Then
and then we can
call
discuss
Richard
it.
and tell him,
Yeah.
Well,
just
you know,
call-
be
I
glad to put it
want
on the
such and
agenda.
such on the agenda.
Right.
That's it.
And there's no compunction about anybody, I don't think, of putting anything on there.
That's
You
what
want
I
it-
don't think
Yes,
it's,
you want to word it wherever way you want it, just let me know and I'll put it on there.
I've thought about putting a good joke on there, but, you know.
and throw it out the window and see if it flies.
Throw it against the wall and see if it sticks.
There you go.
Okay.
All right. Entertain a motion to adjourn unless there's something else. We've got all the checks here, we'll sign them. If you'll go get the stamps.
Motion to adjourn.
Oh,
Second.
yeah.
Is that what it was? Do we-
That's what it was.
Do we have to
I thought we had to
sign
sign
first?
them before we adjourned.
Well, let's say we're gonna sign the checks.
We're gonna sign them all, or not? Thank you, sir.
All right.
Give us half, we'll start them down here.
Okay,
Yeah,
is this
there's
meeting
Half, not
done?
all of them. Yes,
Is this adjourned?
yes.
Okay.
Well, almost.
Unless you wanna
Yeah.
watch us do
I
Unless
checks.
you wanna
don't.
watch us sign checks, that's,
Just so nothing goes on after.
no.
No,